Quiet.
Very quiet. I'm just waiting for the master to say hello, everybody. We're here.
Well, I think maybe we should say hello then. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Excuse the stone. Let me start again. This week, I unmuted the panel, but I didn't unmute myself. We're getting there. We're getting there. Welcome to High on Homegrown, everybody. As you can tell, we are high on homegrown. At least I am.
No, just Mackie.
Yeah, bastard, right.
The rest of us have a way to go yet.
Man, I said some poetic shit right then as well, which you just all completely missed, man. I'm sorry about that. I didn't really. I chatted a load of shit. It was pretty much just a warm up. Right, so
I think
GB,
you're telling a story there.
You was all quiet when I asked you to speak. So, are you there today, mate?
Me? I am here today.
Oh, cool,
I
cool.
am.
I
How's it going, guys?
Savage. So, apologies, everybody. Sorry, GB. Carry on, mate.
No, it's grand, buddy. How is everyone this evening, guys? Hope everybody has had a glorious weekend. I don't know what it's been like everywhere else, but we actually had some fucking decent weather here in Ireland for a fucking change. So it was great. Oh.
Real decent weather. Hello, everybody. We had so decent weather, all my plaster dried before it was supposed to.
Lovely.
Don't like doing that.
And we got Monkey as
decent,
well.
But not ideal.
Monkey's
Yeah, you had the decent weather. I think our weather turned south. We had that storm go through the Gulf of Mexico. It's been kind of bad. Hey, everybody, it's Monkey. I'm here from the southern U.S. How's it going today, guys?
Yeah, it's stony. TJ, you're eating your oats and shit, is that?
Yeah, now just finishing up some late, I don't know if you call this brunch or lup or whatever, mid-afternoon snack. But yeah, TG here up in Saskatchewan, Canada. Our weather is good also. It's not as hot as it has been, so thankful for that. The tent is
shout out there to the guys in the chat as well.
Back to normal
CG.
temps, so I'm liking that. Yeah.
Nice. It's been warm here in the UK this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's very warm in the UK, where it hasn't been over here. That's what I don't understand about this. Like, our countries are so fucking close together, but your weather is like 37 and 38 degrees, and we're 16 and 17 degrees.
Whoa.
I was 16 and 17. It's done my head in with 36.
At least you guys don't get the twisters. We had a crazy tornado in southern Manitoba that actually killed a couple of people.
Shit.
A couple days ago. It was, pretty scary stuff.
Welcome to Percy's International Weather Forecast.
Yep. We will keep you updated next week as well.
Wherever you are.
So, just a shout out to them guys in the chat there. We got Ali. Ali's in as well this week. What's up, Ali? Red Eye, CG, we saw you. Invero made it this week. Thanks for joining us,
This
man.
guy named Zombie up in there, I think. Yeah.
Greenbeard. I know that guy. I recognize that fucking name.
Really?
Catherine.
You have to be wary of that bollocks.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. It's always a massive pleasure. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Episode 6 now. And people seem to be enjoying it. We're getting some good downloads up online. You know, we just want to give a shout out as well, because last week we had one of the nice YouTube comments that we like to see. So I'll put it up on screen so you can all see. It's from Dave. And Dave tunes in every week, and he sits with his non-smoking missus and enjoys the show. And she even has a little couple of tokes now and again to enjoy the show as well. So I just want to give a shout out to them guys. So if you want to have a comment featured on next week's show, just drop a comment below, and I'll put some of them on next week's episode. We're going to start doing that now. So if you want something to be seen, then next week, then drop it in the comments, and I'll put it up there. The comments with the most likes will be featured. Sweet. So let's go back to that introduction screen. Also, we'll just move on to news and events, eh?
That would be good.
Your weekly news from High on Homegrown. What we got this week, boys?
Well, I'll go ahead.
Go on.
No, Zian, go ahead, man. Look, I always let you go first.
Aw. I've only got a little one anyway, because I've been ridiculously busy today. And
Giggity.
I a little bit forgot. So I've been looking around madly for the last 10 minutes. And I can only find this little one. This kind of amused me a little bit, considering all this COV ID stuff that's going on at the minute. Some manufacturer somewhere of pre-rolled cones, apparently one of their employees was either spotted by somebody or spotted by CCTV licking one of the cones. So said manufacturers had to recall all of their cones manufactured from said date, and it's running into thousands. Just kind of shows how like ridiculously idiotic people can be.
Yeah, it's good QA at least, but yeah.
What are you saying,
That's
Cheech?
what people used to always did was, to seal a joint, you licked it, and that's pretty much what we did. I mean, I can remember back in the day when, the last step of the joint was put it in your mouth, roll it around, take it out, and pass it to the next guy before the lighter. I mean, it was that ridiculous, guys.
Yeah, and then you get one of them off your next man that's all soggy at the end.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why I never share a spliff.
Same as, mate. Exactly.
Yeah, there's
But
nothing
anyway.
worse than a duck arse.
Anywhere I go, my box, my bag, my whatever is just there. If anybody wants one, roll one. Don't be fucking looking at me saying you stingy cunt. Give me some of yours. There's stuff there. Look, use it.
There you go.
Usually even pre-roll them for everybody because I like rolling joints, and yeah, I mean, but yeah, I sharing, especially nowadays, is, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I don't get into it much, but I do know people who take great pride in rolling.
Yeah, I do. I roll the perfect spliff every time, man. I just enjoy rolling a nice spliff.
yeah.
I think it's built.
one
If
year
you got the
all
right
together.
roach, then you'll have the perfect spliff, man. It's all built off the roach.
Mine all come out exactly the same, so mine must be pretty good as well.
I guess they all do the job, right?
Yeah, they
I'm
all
not
do
a
the same thing.
germaphobe or anything.
Definitely.
I prefer to know who rolled that joint, so then I can either judge whether or not I might want to smoke it. Just, I don't know, like, because it is their saliva on that little strip of
I get it.
Well, it is. In fairness, if you see like some skanky, junky looking thing, you don't want to be sucking on a spliff that he's been rolling, do you?
Exactly, yeah.
Skanky, jokey looking
It's
thing.
like in the Redman song, How to Roll a Blunt. You know,
Hey, man, you want to hit
crackhead
us?
sauce all around
Yeah.
the face and the nose and stuff? Nah, forget that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the
no.
next news article, eh? What do you have this week, Monkey?
Oh, yeah. I had an article from some cardiologists in America that took a look at smoking marijuana. Is it good for you? And I guess the answer is they answered strictly like you would think a cardiologist would. And the risk of smoking marijuana, they say, is no better than the risk of smoking tobacco because it gives the same problems with your heart and circulatory system. They basically are cautioning people that you're inhaling the toxins, you're inhaling the carbon monoxides, and everything is just pretty much the same as cigarettes. But I do know that most marijuana smokers, as opposed to cigarette smokers, do generally report that it's easier on their lungs. However, this group does not agree with that finding. They say it's just as hard as on your lungs, and they're encouraging everyone to stop smoking marijuana. Now, the cool thing or the confusing thing here is they're also against vaping. So what are we supposed to do here? I mean, those are the two most popular forms of ingestion. And I don't think there's really much of an option.
It's one of
edibles
them,
at
mate.
that point are different.
It's quality or quantity. It's like smoking weed. You're probably gonna live 10 years less than if you didn't, but you're gonna have so much more of a smoother fucking ride, man. You know?
Yeah.
I'm sure you regret it when you get to your last days and you're like, God damn, I wish I didn't smoke them fucking 500,000 spliffs throughout my life. But
Well, I mean, you know the old saying that the things you regret are the things that you didn't do, not the things that you did do.
Maybe.
I regret
They want us not to smoke it and not to vape it. So I wonder, we should look into maybe who provided the funding for this study, perhaps.
That's true. Now, it didn't say that in the article. It was a group of cardiologists in America, and I give you the article author and things like that, but it honestly did not say who funded the study, how it was done. Yeah. But the study did have a lot of disclaimers in it saying that, with the current marijuana regulations in the United States, that a lot of study has not been done because it's still technically federally illegal and you can't study it.
Yeah,
sure.
So, I mean, that's just one of those things. The study was kind of interesting in the fact that it said that THC has a tendency to raise blood pressure while CBD has a tendency to lower your blood pressure. So, I mean, I didn't know that about THC. I always thought it chilled me out and made my pressure go down, but maybe I'll have to go and check
I don't
that.
know. Maybe the people that did the studies on were just like getting baked in front of people in white coats. It made them a bit nervous, so it raised their blood
that
pressure.
would make me nervous.
You know what I'm saying?
You
White
guys
coat syndrome,
just
man.
go to
Isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
Just get stoned and go to the pharmacy and stick your arm in that thing by the booth there and press the button and wait, and then do it when you're not stoned and check it out. It's easy,
Yeah.
and it doesn't even
Yeah.
cost you anything.
Pretty good. But anyway, I thought I'd throw this out there just because, we're always saying how good weed is. Well, I'd throw one out there for the opposite side, just a
Sure.
balanced
Yeah,
viewpoint here.
What
I
you got
definitely
there,
saw that
TG?
article.
Mhm.
Oh,
You got something different this week.
mine is, yeah, it's not specifically to do about cannabis, but it's a pretty landmark thing here in Canada. 4 terminally ill Canadians were actually just approved to legally use psilocybin as end of life treatment.
As in mushrooms.
A magic mushroom,
Yeah.
that's right.
Wow.
So yeah, there was a Section 56 exemption given by our health minister, federal health minister, to these 4 unfortunate individuals, allowing them to legally use psilocybin in a therapeutic way, I guess, to help relieve their anxiety from
Hmm.
they have terminal cancer and other horrible diseases, obviously.
Yeah.
And when you're in that situation, I think you should be able to use anything you want to be able to
You're right.
relieve your issues. So that's
Mhm.
right. Yeah. So it's pretty
Very
cool.
good.
And I mean, obviously on the surface, it's the main thing is for these four people to be able to find relief. But the Section 56 is interesting because that's actually how back in 1999 and in the year 2000 that the first iteration of the medical marijuana program, the MMAR here in Canada, got started through the exact same Section 56 exemption for some very ill Canadians. So doesn't mean that we're going to have a medical mushroom program or anything like this, but I mean, at least it's a kind of the door is slightly cracked open in that kind of realm of things, and we'll see that like there might, well, the people will see that there is therapeutic value to these substances, not just through the anecdotal evidence that
Mhm.
is so you know
It's interesting, man. It's
everywhere.
good to see that progress is being made in that direction.
Absolutely.
Finally.
I think there was some movement in the states in that area too. I remember reading about Colorado was working on similar things. So
Right.
more
Denver,
than
I
one,
think, right?
exactly, yes. More than one group are starting to see that there might be some merit here. That we can't just put a blanket statement down on everything.
Mhm.
So what were you saying, GB? You got some news this week from
So that's
Ireland,
pretty
right?
cool, I thought. But
I do have some news. As you can see up on the splash there is hundreds of people gathered here. It was a Can or Cork Can Expo. It was a big cannabis expo that was held down in Cork, in the beautiful Cork.
You did a great
Oh,
picture on that photograph, GB. I can't see a single face on it. Perfect, man.
I
no,
can't see any smoke either.
I don't know. Well,
No,
every
no,
You
little
don't
it's
see
good.
all
bit,
that, you see
You
all that
can't
smoke
really
in the sky up there. That's cannabis clouds.
but that was that. So it was actually really good, lads. It was there's started to be movement over here, and it's great to see it that there's not too much going on. But unfortunately, just after half hour, we have insert the man. The
The
guards
man.
came. The man.
With
Lads
guns.
with fucking guns, like the armed response unit.
Well,
Five.
people with
Dangerous
cannabis
spliff in your
smokers.
pocket. That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. What did they think they were going to do? Did they think they were going to draw the spliffs like fucking
No, no.
sabers and attack them?
Them cannabis
Come
smokers are crazy, man. I've seen that film Reefer Madness, and them motherfuckers jumping out of windows and shit.
on. But
good point. Good point.
what we will say, there was some good news that came from it. There was not one single person arrested or searched. The guards weren't there because of the actual theme of the day. They had no problem with that. They had no problem with us all there smoking weed and trying to spread the message. The problem was there was just too many people. It's all this COVID restrictions, they're afraid
I
of the
get it.
virus. And in fairness, it's understandable. But they could have done something very easy. A superintendent could have came down, went to the organisers and said, guys, there's far too many people here. Would you be able to shut it down and maybe try to do it in a bigger area another time?
Yeah.
It would have been shut down, and all of us,
You
we're
know,
all happy people.
usually
We would have went, yeah, okay, fair enough. They're being respectful.
You
But
know, it's,
Libya wouldn't have got anywhere near that, and then there wouldn't have been this massive flipping campaign to like, all really bad weed smokers look drugs and in a field, and they're all together, and nobody's observing, like, no
it's different though,
masks,
isn't
no
it?
1 meters
Because
apart.
Well,
imagine the
I will
armed police.
say it was a park, lads, but there was like 300 people there. It was maybe 2 acres. It's a lot smaller than 2 acres because it's smaller than my place. So it was
Yeah, you
fairly
could have it
tight.
at your place next time.
We could. We could. I don't know how it got down with
No,
the
don't
neighbours.
do that.
Crank up the
Yeah.
grill, man. Time to make a party.
Yeah, you can totally old Bill to bugger
But-
off then, can't you?
Yeah, but we do have another one anyway, lads. We have another protest coming up on the 29th of August. It's going to be happening up outside the Custom House, which is right in the heart of Dublin City.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking cool, guys. You know. So, and we are going to be there at it as well. Now, I got down a bit late, unfortunately, because I thought it was going to be going on for a bit longer. I want to be there for the cloud, for the big cloud and things. I was there for the small one at 4:20. I think there was meant to be a bigger one again. Unfortunately, the Popo fucking locked us down, so that ended that. But as I said, luckily nobody was arrested, nobody anything, and there wasn't a problem with the theme. It was just because of the virus.
Yeah.
So the virus fucked us up again.
So did the police come running in, and instead of like with the guns going, everybody freeze?
Oh,
Was it like
mate,
everybody
no,
move?
You should have seen it. It was fucking crazy. Like we were
No
standing
way.
you can see where all the vans are now. Well, I was standing over at the fence behind there because I was literally only after bringing the drone down and fucking just packing away and stuff. And like they just fucking came in like a armada, or not an armada, a fucking convoy. Like there's only one way in and out of that park.
Yeah.
And they came in the one thing with all lights blare and fucking one boom, 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 one after the other. And everybody tried to escape through like this little gap that was no bigger than like fucking 3 foot wide and through like a bunch of hedges and trees. It was pandemonium, but again, it was madness. They were more concerned about who owned some fucking speaker than they were about a big cannabis plant, a big weed plant in an air pot sitting right bang smack in the middle of it.
No
You can
way.
see it
Somebody
here.
bought a plant
You
in an
can-
airport.
You
No
can
way.
see it here if you look in the picture there now. She's right there in the
Oh
middle.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
right there. Yeah.
Yeah,
No
she
way.
was a big
Right.
plant. She was fucking nip high, like.
Nice. Should have
That-
took cuttings, man.
That's a 3-gallon pot, man. That thing's 3 times the size of the pot.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how we do it over here in
I'm
Ireland.
telling you. Bring your own plant, not your own bag, man.
Yeah,
Just-
but no,
so-
I have to say it was a great day, guys. Great day.
Yeah, man. So we got some forum news as well. This week
Yeah.
we hit 3,000 members. How
Ooh.
fucking cool is that? It's been
That
a
is
long
pretty cool.
struggle. It's a nice milestone, man. I think 5K the next milestone. So if
That's
you're listening
in
to
less
this,
than 2 years, Mackie, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
in less than 2
months.
years.
Yeah, 18 months or something like that.
Yeah,
it's-
about
that's
that.
really great. It's
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
unbelievable growth. Yeah.
And
Good
in that
stuff.
we've got 1,600 different topics, man. 1,600 different topics. You know, threads and shit. That's 1,600. Wow. Oh,
That's
crazy
mad.
numbers, man. Numbers which I thought would take much longer than this to see. You know, the website's grown so crazy fast.
It's just it's the content and the stuff that's on it, and it's the community that we have on the forum.
Well, we've
It's the
reached
Is what makes it.
we've reached the top 500,000 sites in the world as well now.
It's nice.
You know, and there's a lot of websites out there. So.
There is a lot of
That's a good one.
websites.
And we got
Yeah.
member of the month this week, which we haven't announced on the forum yet because we wanted to do it on the podcast. And we got Cola Cody for all the epic work he's been doing, answering a lot of questions, helping out a lot of new growers. He's doing a great job over the last month. So we thought we'd show him some recognition and give him some
Yeah,
bling
now
for
the
it.
chat can do us a real solid here. Now, Cody doesn't know this yet. He doesn't listen to this live. So when y'all get back to the forum, just congratulate Cody
But
in the
don't
member of the
tell
month
them
thread,
why.
but don't tell him why. Just we'll start a thread for congratulations, Cody, and just say congratulations, and he won't know anything until he listens to the podcast. Okay, guys?
Yeah.
There you go. That's
Like
our
it.
plot.
So with that, we should move on to this week's famous stoner.
Now, guys, who we are gonna look at today is Frankie Loja, aka Franco,
Yeah,
the
man.
strain hunter.
This guy was a legend.
He was a legend. He
But he
was a
still is a legend.
serious.
You know,
He still is, yeah, yeah. He done so much in the world of breeding, in the world of just weed, man. Full stop. It was unbelievable. But what we do is we'll start off, and we can have little chit chats as we go through. So we just start off just very briefly. Franco was born in Italy. He was born in Turin in '74. You know, he has He's best known for being a member of the Greenhouse Seed Company that's based out of Amsterdam, the stoner mecca, and he's worked there since '97. Greenhouse Seeds is a Dutch company that was formed by Arjen Roscom in 1985, one of the leading companies in the world of cannabis genetics and world class seed bank.
Oh, John, the king of cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get
He
him on the
is
show, man.
indeed.
I'm trying.
Well, he will be somebody that we will be looking at again in a couple of weeks. But what we do is we jump back. Franco was the chief breeder in Greenhouse Seed Company, and after years and years of working there and pure dedication, he actually became a partner in the company. And Greenhouse is best known for selecting the best strains, and it's won countless awards. I'm sure most of us out here have grown strains,
Yeah, man.
or else
Definitely got
we've
loads
come
in the
across
collection.
them.
Definitely
Oh
smoked
yeah,
something by them for sure.
oh yeah. They've won so many awards, but we actually have a couple of the awards that they've won further down, so we will come back to that. Well, back in 2008. So we jump a long time. So he used to go around the world basically looking for these strains and stuff everywhere, and he eventually started up a series called Strain Hunters along with Roscom, where they documented their trips all around the world. They went into the most remote places in the world trying to find the pure landraces and all the natural cannabises and ones that like nobody have found. And they brought them back and they tried to preserve them, and they've bred with them, and they've done everything with them.
Have you all
But
seen
like
Strain Hunters? Have you seen it, GB?
I've seen one or two. I only briefly looked because I I'm really only getting in, yourself, Mackie. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
why I opted to do this, is because I'm learning about people
Yeah.
that I've never known about.
If you
And
haven't
this
seen
is
Strain Hunters, when this is done, if you want to go watch some shit, Strain Hunters got like 6 episodes where they go to Jamaica, over to India, all around the world looking for the original land races, man. And that is some quality episodes. If you love weed, you will love that TV. When you go to Amsterdam and you sit in the greenhouse coffee shop, they have that on TV. So you can sit there watching it. And I've sat there for many hours watching Strain Hunters. Good shit, man.
I've watched every episode probably, I don't know,
Yeah,
5
a
or
few
6
times,
times, because
yeah.
I mean they're so good, and they don't just talk about weed, because I mean they're brilliant weed geniuses, essentially, but they're into the humanitarian part of it a lot too, and they showcase a lot of reasons why legalization is good for a lot of these developing countries and stuff, because so many people rely on it as a cash crop, not as drug dealers per
Yeah,
se,
yeah.
but just to make ends meet, basically. So it's really good, really, really good.
Great
Highly
TV.
recommend.
Yeah, sorry, GB, you want to carry on, mate?
Oh yeah, no, it's grand. With in Greenhouse, as we all know, have won numerous international prizes and awards along the way. Everybody knows the Super Lemon Haze that they
Mm-hmm.
won.
Oh,
They
yeah.
won,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they won the Cannabis Cup back in 2008. With that, they were first in that. They won the Cannabis Cup again in 2009. They won. What else did they win? They won the award, the IC 420 Growers Cup. They won the Cannabis Cup again, or they came second again in the Cannabis Cup. They've won so many. It's just there's too many to
And
even go
we have a
through.
couple
Like,
of them super silver lemon haze. I know silver lemon haze. I'm not sure. It's in the prize pool for
yeah,
what the
no,
fuck was that, which we'll get to later.
Super Lemon.
But you can
Yeah,
win a
yeah,
couple
no,
of them
they've
seeds from the greenhouse over at Percy's. Man.
Yeah.
Just tell
Quite
us what the
handy,
fuck that
actually.
noise is later on. You know what I'm saying.
exactly.
Yeah. So sorry.
And
And to finish off, unfortunately,
Mhm.
Yeah. GB.
Yeah, well, I'll just be quick then. Unfortunately, Franco died on the 2nd of January in 2017. He died of malaria, cerebral malaria, that he got while he was in the Congo. And ironically, he was in the Congo searching and developing a local medicinal oil specifically to treat fucking malaria.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fucked.
unbelievable.
Yeah, I remember the day it happened, man. It was fucking shocking because I was a big fan
Yeah.
of the Greenhouse, and I've been watching the Strain Hunters and shit. And you see, I followed
Me
him
too,
on
man.
Facebook and that, and you see Franco's unfortunately passed away. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those, you just like
massive shot.
you think it's bullshit because I mean, yeah, he was like wasn't an old guy, but or anything like that. He didn't have health issues, but I guess malaria is.
No, and he left
motherfucker,
he left a young family and everything behind, guys.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
sad,
so
man,
like,
it's so sad.
yeah. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to just jump on a thing that TG normally does, and it's just a quote. It's a quote that the man has, and it's just amazing. It's something that everybody needs. I think as a grower and everything, and as a smoker, I think everybody would feel the same. It is cannabis is my passion, my bread, my home. I feel it is my duty to make sure this amazing plant is preserved and enjoyed. I am a smoker, a grower, a breeder, a strain hunter for life.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
So fucking sad. It is.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Franco. Thanks for everything
Rest
you
in
did, man.
peace.
So, on to the grow guides. Right, so this episode we wanna go over growing cannabis safely because we've discussed already how to set up, how to get your equipment, what kind of nutrients you might want to use, what strains you pick up. Sorry, lighter burnt me. But before you actually start your grow, there's some things that we should cover to make sure that you stay safe as a grower, either with electricals or not getting caught by the police, or some thugs that are going to kick your door in because they know that there's some plants for them to take. So we're going to discuss what's known as the 3 rules, and we're going to go into electrical safety as well. So lads, we all know what the 3 rules are. Zian, you want to go over rule number 1?
No tell.
That's right. Don't tell.
Do not tell anybody.
Anybody.
Tell no one.
Nobody.
Anybody
No,
means
No
nobody.
your mum and dad. No your brothers and sisters. Nobody. If nobody knows, then nobody can grass on you.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can tell your dog.
Yeah.
Loose lips sink ships, as they say, right?
And it's major because a lot of people think that they can trust. Well, I can trust this guy. He's my best mate. He won't tell anybody, But what happens is he'll go and tell his, best mate. I can tell him. He don't know anybody. And before you know it, there's people you don't know about your growth. And it's not a position you want to be in. So don't tell, man. And you never know.
The thing is, too, is
sorry, TJ.
People love. Well, people. I find that people, not myself, because I like to follow these rules. But if someone knows you grow, they like to brag about knowing a grower. It's cool for them.
Yeah,
it gives them some sort of credibility or some shit, right? So,
I know, dude. I can get as much free weed as I want.
That's the one.
Right.
He grows the
careful.
best. Right.
And then we move on to rule number 2, which is
Yes.
something which our website, Percy's Grow Room, stands by firmly.
Strictly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you want to go through that, Monkey?
Yeah. It's really easy. We don't sell.
Don't
Period.
sell.
That's
Don't
the end
sell.
of statement. We don't sell. We don't promote people who sell. We ban people from the site if they come and try to sell. It's just not what we do. We're personal growers, and just in order to stay safe, you keep the law off of you. You keep yourself under the radar. You grow for yourself and only yourself. And I didn't even know the name of our grow room, Percy's Grow Room. To me, it was just a random name, but I had no idea. It's a British thing. Percy is personal.
Percy grower.
Yeah. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so you're like me. We're North Americans, I guess. Unfortunately, we don't get it. But yeah, we are personal growers, and personal growers don't sell.
No, yeah,
you can spread it all over North America now.
Yeah, we've already done that. We're on a podcast now.
It's important because if you're going to break rule number 2, then you're essentially breaking rule number 1 as well.
Absolutely.
And it's not just that. You want to grow just personal use because you won't grow a lot. You know, you can always prove it's just for yourself. And if you
Mhm.
sell your weed, you're gonna run out before your fucking crop's finished, and you're gonna be spending more money on shit weed buying off the street. You know, so
Indeed.
just grow your crop, stick it in the jars, and keep it. Your shit,
And I
man.
think-
Nobody else's. That is the best weed you're gonna get. You know, just
Yeah.
keep it.
And
And
that's
like you
okay.
said,
Go
sorry,
ahead,
Monkey.
DJ. No, it's all you, man.
No, I was gonna say, like Mikey mentioned about breaking rule. By breaking rule 2, you break rule 1. The people that you're dealing with in rule 2, if you do decide to break it, probably, like I said, are even more apt to, if you all of a sudden stop helping them because
Yeah.
for whatever reason they're gonna be like, I don't know, they might be mad at you, so maybe they want to fuck you over or something like that.
They might
So,
be sitting on the other side of the road waiting for you to go out, and then you'll come back to a front door
Yeah.
missing.
because they
Yeah.
know you, and yeah, I mean, it's just totally not worth it at all.
Keep
Yeah.
it to
The
yourself.
only thing I was going to say was the only thing that we do at Percy's that we, and it's not even a breaking the rule. It's just kind of a gray area. Is we do allow personal growers that grow for other medical patients because that's a compassion thing, and there's not any real money to be made
Yeah.
there. You're helping
No.
someone. You know,
You're helping
that's
those
not a,
people who
not a
can't grow for
commercial venture.
themselves. You know.
Yeah.
If you give it away, yeah, especially to people who aren't, they're not gonna get it from somewhere else, kind of thing. Yeah, like you're really helping them. Yeah, absolutely.
And they're not going to go spreading it around where they're getting it off. They'll just say,
Exactly.
I know a guy.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of our rules at Percy's, and that's definitely one of the three.
And then the last one, which is extremely important if you live in an urban area,
Take it
is
away,
no
GB.
smell.
Yeah, man.
Is no smell.
Mm-hmm.
Cover that smell.
Because we all love the smell of the dank,
Don't you?
but
Mm.
not everybody else does.
And,
Yep,
and,
so
and it smells,
that
man.
is-
And it's not.
it
It don't
does.
smell because you know it smells fucking beautiful. It's pungent.
Mm.
That's the
It's-
right
Oh,
word
yeah.
for it. It gets up into the air and it will spread. And it's a different smell to smoking weed. It's
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
a thick, pungent, humid smell, man. But you can
It's
smell
just
when you know
gorgeous.
that smell. When you know the smell of a growing plant, you could be walking down the road and you'll smell it when you walk past somebody who's growing and they're not taking care of the smell. Now, if that's a police
Mhm.
officer who also knows the smell of a live cannabis plant because they've probably seen it in training or they've seen it in, you know, when they've got them taking doors off. So they know the smell. You have to
Mhm.
cover the
Yeah.
smell, and that can be done with a carbon filter. And
Yeah,
there is
you
other
can.
ways, but the cheapest, you know, the most used way by most Percy growers is using a carbon filter.
Well, it's the most effective way.
And make sure it's a decent carbon filter though, not one of
Yeah.
these 10.99 ones because they ain't worth a fart.
Mhm.
No,
Oh, really?
there she
Man, I
is.
got to go change my filter now.
A
You're
good,
okay. You're legal.
Oh, no, I'm not.
No, it's not, mate.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No.
No, you're not.
But yeah,
no,
no,
I have a
good.
good filter on now. I do have a
I
good
pump
filter.
mine straight out. However, I have tons of paperwork, and you know, even in the situation that I did have to prove, it's probably in my best interest not to pump it out my chimney like I am right now.
Mm.
But you know, like I don't know, we're in Canada, I guess, so maybe
But it's not just
maybe
the
I should change.
authorities that you need to worry about as well. Though.
That's
It's the people on
exactly,
the
man.
street who are gonna smell that shit, and that you don't want. You'd rather have the police coming through the door than some of those people. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you don't want to mess with
No,
the people in the
they're-
black market. They're playing a different kind of game.
Yeah, the
right.
rules are
Exactly.
different.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it is so pungent. You know, I've grown outdoor the last 2 years, and come fall when the air is still and like you said, it's kind of humid and sticky
Yeah,
out
it
there.
just hangs there.
Oh God, it just smells like skunks live in my backyard. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Just-
So,
Carbon filter, it's so important. Buy a good one. You know, like Rhino Air. That's what Rhino
Rhino are
and
good.
Mountain Air. You know,
Mm.
there's apparently been
Mountain
some
Air,
changes
Perkins.
with one of them. Mm.
Procana are pretty good as well. Is it
You know,
Procana?
Check the
Or Canna.
reviews, you know, ask around the forum, see what other growers use, and you know, go for the best you can because it's an important one. If you break that rule and people find out, then you're breaking rule number one again. Breaking rule number three is like breaking rule number one. Letting that smell get out is telling people there's a crop here, and you have to be careful.
Make sure it has good Australian charcoal in it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes such a difference. Because if they put in the cheap fucking shit that comes from Russia and stuff, it's not good quality. Like you might get one grow, maybe two. get a good Australian one, and you'll get a good, like if you use a Rhino Pro, you're going to get a good 6 months to a year, depending on how stinky your fucking.
Yeah. That's a good question, actually. How long for you guys each? How long do you guys usually get out of a typical carbon filter that you run based on the strains?
Well, Zombie, I know your answer, man.
But Zombies is a monster. It's nearly the size of a fucking room.
2 years and still going so far.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I change mine every like 3 grows maybe. I don't know, just to be sure. Well, mine gets pumped out chimney as well, so you know.
You can get those ones you can reverse them too, right? Where you stick the one side in the other, and it pulls it the other way through the carbon. You get a little bit more life out of it.
That's what I've got right now. That's the iPower ones that you can do that. But I over-spec my tent, so my filter is probably 3 times too big, and I haven't had to even flip it yet. So.
Well, just put your filter on the other end when it's like at its sell-by date. So instead of sucking through it, you push through it.
You can do that, but what it does is it makes the air get pulled from the opposite end of the carbon because the end that's closest to the intake is going to take more of a load, kind of thing.
Yeah, true.
And you don't take any risks, man. Don't
Exactly,
cut corners, but turn it around.
Whatever
and
it takes,
just get a new one.
Smell. I always I even in the room that I grow in, I keep just air fresheners going, just like a tropical smell in here, just to kind of blend with it if I do have any funk or dank in the room. That way, if something does get out, it sounds. I mean, honestly, it smells more like a motel room than anything else in here.
Incense works pretty good if you guys like burning incense.
I have incense.
Yeah, it smells like a hippie, so it kind of defeats the purpose sometimes. But
it works well though.
Yeah, whatever it takes, though, but just cover the smell with something, some light. Get rid of it.
That's it. Yeah. Do not break those 3 rules at any cost.
They're very important.
If you break them, you are risking your safety. Simple. And your freedom.
And if you need help
and your
figuring out how, drop by Percy's. We'll show you how.
You know, just keep it personal. You're doing nothing wrong by growing your own personal supply. You're actually doing good by taking money out of the black market. You're only growing your own supply of weed, man. And this is where we move on to the next section of grow guides here, is where we're going to grow with safety as well. Don't steal shit. Be a good grower. You know, some people, they want to rig up the electricity meter and try and get free electricity and shit like that. And that is not cool, man. It's not only unsafe, but you're stealing from somebody.
That's how you get caught.
Yeah, as long as there's no victim in what you're doing, then there's not really any crime. And when you start stealing electricity, there's a victim, the electricity company. You know,
steal from the sun, man.
You grow. If you hadn't have been stealing electricity, you'd have probably got a slap on the wrist. But stealing electricity, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
True.
And very true.
I appreciate that.
You know,
there's like plenty of if you really want to do it, I mean, it's expensive as heck, but I mean, buy some solar panels. The sun shits out free energy all the time, and just rig that out.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're in Ireland,
get
yourself wind power.
Yeah.
It's dangerous, man. If that shit ain't done right, your whole house could burn down. You know, you can't have that, man. You can't take them risks.
What I will say about all of this,
if the meter's rigged and it's not wired up, right?
Yeah. I was going to say wind power and solar power are okay.
Oh yeah, that
was trying to figure out what the wind power was going to burn a house down, but I lost you there for a minute.
Yeah, sorry. Was I jumping subjects?
You missed a little bit out.
Let's call it a hopscotch.
I was thinking about rolling another, you see.
Yeah, well, I've already done that, so you know.
Another very big thing is if you're growing urban, a lot of people grow in their attic. There's going to, depending on what you're going to grow with, there could be serious heat up there that's going to, and the fuckers fly out. We all know they fly overhead and just say, oh, what's that fucking thing glowing over there?
Yeah, infrared, man. They look at the roofs. Like here in Canada, we have snow on our roofs, right? And one of the jokes was, you always had that one roof on the block with no snow. What do you think they're doing up there, right? So,
but see, that's kind of like I'm a bit I don't know 50-50 on that one, because a lot of roofs aren't properly insulated. So again, the snow would disappear. So the police would be coming along, kicking doors in of poorly insulated houses.
Yeah, that's kind of more of just a kind of
a red flag.
But
got it. Yeah.
There's a difference between a poor insulated house and having a poor insulated grow room.
Oh
in
yeah,
your
because all the
paddock.
pigeons sit on the poor insulated grow room. There's hundreds of birds sitting up there. In the
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my roof. I don't grow in my top floor, and my roof never has snow because it just shits heat out all winter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's not a good indication, but I mean, if you have some stupid Sergeant Stadenko cops, from Cheech and Chong back in the day, maybe they're
True.
looking for something. But
Then again, sometimes they're just fucking, because I find personally a lot of the time the cops, they go after the smaller guy. It's what they do kind of over here. They go after the smaller boys because they know they're not gonna have to deal with anything. And it's, at the end of the day, it's another notch on the post for them. And it's how many arrests they get. Like
they don't care, exactly, right?
No, guys, I went through a checkpoint today. We were driving down about fucking 300 meters away. I was smoking a spliff. I was in the passenger seat. And here's a fucking checkpoint. And I gone, oh shit. True, now, I only had a small bit left. But I just fucking, we were sitting in the thing. Your one came over. Go, oh, where are you coming from? Because you see, there's 3 counties. And we were passing through one of them.
Yeah.
And it's in fucking lockdown.
Right,
And it's
okay.
mad, like, yeah, it's weird.
I was thinking then, I was like, what? You just get random checkpoints in what? But yeah, the COVID man, yeah.
Yeah, oh no, but they do random checkpoints, even on the motorway. Like, I drive down the motorway, and like, you could come across a massive checkpoint in the middle of the motorway, and these are going to check you for drugs, drink, social welfare, to make sure that you're not working and claiming social. Then you'll go through the fuel dip to make sure you're not using green diesel.
Sure your vehicle's roadworthy and all that shit.
I thought you fucking lived in Ireland, man. Not Korea.
Yeah, no.
We get them as well. I've had
1984
where all the agencies are on one car park and they've dragged me in, especially when I had an old rusty knackered Transit.
Oh no, this is nearly every single car every car will be stopped.
Well,
or if they're just looking for.
Mine was a rusty knackered old Transit, so they're obviously going to stop me, but they were stopping all commercial vehicles at the time.
It's normally commercial vehicles, but if they see a car that looks like a bit dodgy, or if it's somebody in it that looks dodgy, or
what smells of weed,
they just go, you over. And like, I'm always fucking stoned, So like,
freaking out, man.
You get so tired, you go, oh no.
Sit in the car while they do all their checks with the music on, just leaning back, thinking, right, hurry up then. And you get this knock on the window, and you're like, what? I'm all right, mate. Just carry on.
Check those wheels. Kick the tires. But yeah, I've even lost the train that I was on. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah,
safety.
You're on inspections and checkpoint.
Oh yeah. Well, that was smoking weed.
Yeah, but there's another thing. When you are growing, if you get caught with weed outside, there's always a chance the police officers are going to go, we want to come and check your house. So you have to be more cautious when you're out as well. You don't just go around walking about the place blazing a spliff. Don't let anybody know you even smoke. Add that to rule number 1. Let your friends know you smoke. But
I let everybody know, so
already.
I don't care.
Try and keep it quiet as much as possible.
I'd walk down the beach. I'd walk down the road.
Same as. I'll put my spliff on the windowsill outside the shop, go in, buy me stuff, pick me spliff up, and carry on again.
I don't even do that. I just kind of fucking tip it a little bit in my fingers and stick it into my back pocket.
Let's just talk about prop.
I'm usually at the shop early in the morning, so there's nobody else about, so I'm not going to lose it.
In Canada, like as medical patients, we do have a bit more rights than your average weed smoking person on the street. But even I don't fuck with that, just because, like, even if the cop, even if you have your papers all set and stuff, they'll still take your shit, and then it's up to you to kind of prove yourself fucking
just to inconvenience you.
It's just such a pain in the ass. It's just not worth dealing with any of that shit. So just 3 rules, man. Like, stick by them.
So let's talk about fire safety as well. Make sure that you're using good quality timers and plugs.
Yes.
Don't just use cheap shit, man. And make sure you're using your equipment properly.
What timer, even though it's cheap at $199 on eBay, is no good for 1200 watts worth of light.
Exactly.
Lumitech make a good timer.
They all make good timers.
Or not Lumitech,
The capacity of the timer is rated at more than the capacity of what you're plugging into it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
And make sure it's certified by the various institutions. You don't just want some thing that some dude made in his garage. Not that wouldn't
I've
work,
got a
but
couple of things that some dude made in his garage, but I stand by my safety. Don't worry, mate.
of course, as long as
that
you
guy
can
was
vouch.
probably
But
Zombie Nation, huh?
yeah.
Oh,
But you know
dear.
what I mean,
But
right?
yeah,
So
Yeah, I do.
there's especially the eBay, Amazon like switchers and timers, whatever. They can boast about all sorts of things, and I've seen fires with 3 timers now that have basically set fire to the houses. I've been in to repair the houses, and they've started exactly where the timer is, big hole in the wooden floor, and the rest of the house has gone up.
Well, it's exactly one of the arguments here in Canada as to why a lot of the I don't think there's any insurance companies that will insure your house if you tell them that you grow cannabis there.
God knows, same here.
Yeah,
Exactly.
well,
Obviously we can't.
yeah, but even with legal here, if you tell them
yeah.
they're gonna because it's moldy and because you're gonna start your house on fire. But
you've got water and electricity in the same place. Who'd want to insure that?
Right.
Add heat. Now
This
we
is
have a
it.
real good recipe.
Keep all
Add
your
stoners.
electricals off the floor.
Yeah,
That's a big
and
thing.
Stoners.
Then
Stoners
you
are a
get-
big factor. Yeah.
You could have a dry medium as well, a cocoa. If cocoa is near dry, a small fucking bit of tinder or a spark would set it up.
Or you could have one of them CO2 generators with the gas bottle connected improperly, and the gas just fills your room, and kaboom.
CO2 don't light, do you?
No, I don't use that stuff. I mean, I don't need it.
CO2 is a retardant of fire.
Because you can use
he's talking about-
fire
He's
extinguishers
talking
that you
about
can
those
get.
combustion generators that actually, they leak the butane into those
yeah,
generators.
yeah,
and create
If
CO2.
the butane that's coming out, then you're fucked.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
What's it always going for? Not the CO2.
There's actually fire extinguishers that you can get that you can hang up in your grow room, and if there's any fire around there, then they'll push out a load of gas so it doesn't affect the crop. Say they're high in flower and there's a fire,
Wow.
it would just
Yes, the gas ones.
there's a
They
gas
make
one.
powder ones as well, which
Yeah.
are the cheaper ones.
But that will
I've
fuck
got
up your
an
grow.
issue with the powder ones.
Yeah.
If it goes off improperly, or your light's a little bit close to it, I don't know, if it's made wrong or the sensor's wrong, something's wrong, you've killed your grow.
Yeah.
With the gas ones, they're more expensive, but if it goes off unnecessarily, your grow's still going.
Can't put a price on peace of mind,
I put a smoke detector right above my tent, and I have a fire extinguisher on hand. I mean, which isn't the best thing, but I mean,
Yeah,
I don't have.
It's a step. It saves you running around like a blue ass fly looking for one when you need one.
For sure. But like we said, like prevention is the best thing. I have a little tool. I don't know if you guys have these or have seen these. They're called a Kilowatt Meter. I don't know, kilowatt. Yeah, you plug them in.
Free.
Yeah, so do we. Well, that's right. I got mine free, but anyway, they're not very expensive if you don't get them for free. But you plug in your power bar to this thing that's plugged into your outlet, and then it tells you exactly how many watts you're drawing, the amperage, volts, your power factor, and you can keep track of your kilowatts used and all that kind of fun stuff if you really want. But you use it for just to make sure you're not over capacity. I use it every time I set up a new grow, just to make sure.
Very good for these people that tend to use extension leads for everything.
Well, that's what I was going to say that as well. If you use, I'm using extension leads at the minute because I'm waiting for my electrician friend to come and wire up my grow for me.
Extension leads are okay, but
once you have them pulled all the way out, pull the wire the whole way out.
No coiled wires, and don't
Yeah.
overload it. If it's a 13 amp extension, that's it. 13 amps.
Exactly.
And don't put maximum through it. You don't want maximum going through your cables. You want if it's 13 amps, maximum 10 amps. Good.
Sure.
Good.
Yeah. Always leave a bit cushion.
Do the monkey do grow style, over-spec it.
Yes.
Oh, you have to. I've done the same, lads, and you know the reason why I've done because I'm a wooden box within a shed.
Yeah.
Within the shed, there is a ton and a half of fucking turf on the far side of one wall, and on
Wait
the
a
other
minute.
side,
We used to build fires like that in Boy Scouts, wooden box and a wooden box and a wooden box. Yeah, I remember that.
On the other side of that is a fucking 2,000 liter oil tank.
Oh god damn!
So I have to be extremely careful.
So,
when it comes to fire.
do you not get inspections by the fire brigade in Ireland then?
No, not where I am. I'm in the fucking bog arse and nowhere, man.
My old man's got oil fired heating, and the guy that came out to service it refused to do it because the flue of his boiler. Because my dad's like me, he does a bit of everything. So he's moved his boiler from inside to outside, and he's pointed his flue at his oil tank, which is like 20 foot away. And the geezer refused to service his boiler because he said that the flue might set fire to the oil tank, which is 20 foot away. And I'm thinking, what? Flue on these like oil-fired boilers? I've never seen a jet engine flue.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say that
But you never know.
My one is at my back door, lads. Mine's at my back door. The fucking boiler is there, and the thing just literally points out and points at the back door, and it's grand. Hello.
Yeah.
But even that's just stupid. But yeah, no, we don't do that over here. I know if you have gas is different. If you have gas, it has to be registered or has to be checked every year or every 2 years. Oil is you only get a service when you need it.
Well, that's manual, that is.
Yeah.
So there we go, man. That's pretty much. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. Always be careful and err on the side of caution because you have to be safe. You know, that's all we want, really. This is the whole idea of Percy's Grow Room and shit. We want to try and keep people safe by providing them with their own supply of clean cannabis, so you know it's safe. But we want you to be safe doing it. You know?
If things go wrong during the harvest, man, you never enjoy it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah, that's true.
be safe. Exactly. If somebody else gets your harvest,
because everybody knows you're gonna have enough fucking mistakes in the thing by dropping lights or flooding the fucking tent and shit yourself.
Right.
There's no point. Yeah, there's no point in fucking making like a dangerous thing that you know that it could happen if you're not there.
Mm-hmm.
If you do use extension leads and the like, do not put them on the floor of your tent. Hang them up on the ceiling. Every single electrical connection, keep off the floor.
Yep. Always. Don't put any electrics on the floor, especially fucking ballast. I've seen that in the past. My gosh. Imagine just the slightest bit of spillage and some water gets on that B600 watt ballast. Come on, man. Be careful.
Well, this is why they put shades on top of lights, isn't it? So the water doesn't hit the light bulb.
Yeah.
bang.
Yeah.
Safety first, guys.
Is that what I thought it was to reflect the light?
Well, no, the general
It's a dual purpose kind of thing, but you want to protect that red hot light bulb from any kind of moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
Especially, when you foliar feed plants as well. Make sure that you raise your lights like way up, or do it when the lights are off. Because you don't want to burn your plants for one, but of course you don't want to hit the bulb with a spray.
Nah.
I see Richard D is very fancy. He has contractors boards in his grow room. Yeah, very fancy Richard D.
Right then.
Very fancy indeed.
So with that, just be careful, man. Follow the instructions. Hope this helps you. And don't break the 3 rules under any conditions. That's the most important thing, what you're going to take away from this. Don't break those 3 rules. Memorize them. Don't tell. Don't smell. Don't sell. Yeah.
Right.
I think I nearly forgot them then.
Sure too. Give us a shout on the forum. We got lots of good, very knowledgeable people that can answer pretty much any of these kinds of questions about electrical or all that stuff. So don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah, man.
No,
right, so then
everybody's there and everybody's done it, so we can all help.
Zombie.
Strain of the week. Are we ready? What do we have this week, Monkey?
Strain of the week this week. We're going to talk about Skittles a little bit. Yeah. Last week when we did the interview with Milo from Big Buddha, he was smoking on Skittles the entire interview, and he said that was his current.
A few times, didn't he?
He did quite a few, and you didn't hear the whole interview because that was edited quite a bit.
Yes.
But Mackie and I were watching the cloud of Skittles coming the whole time. But anyway, I thought it would be kind of interesting to go ahead and talk about Skittles a little bit. And Skittles is an indica-dominant hybrid of grape ape and grapefruit. And it's also crossed, as usually you hear, with an undisclosed strain. Now, of course.
The secret recipe.
The secret sauce. That's all it is. And most websites credit the strain to the third gen family, and some of them give also minor credit to terp hogs. I don't know what that's all about. I couldn't find the reason why it's only minor credit to terp hogs, but everybody said third family gen. Now the strain comes back in at 70-30 on indica dominant, and the THC can range anywhere from 15 to 23%. And I think most of it comes in somewhere around 13 to 15, which would be about right. This is one I have smoked quite a bit of in Denver. It's very interesting. I thought it tasted very much like a bag of Skittles. It was candy with a hell of a kick. If I
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun to smoke. It was easy to smoke. And it was one of those hybrid strains. I can compare it to two or three other ones. That's almost a little bit of everything. It kind of had that up of the sativa, but the chill of the indica, but it didn't have the couch lock. So it was kind of a best of both worlds things. Have anybody else smoked this one?
I'm growing it now.
Yeah.
I
just finished
haven't.
it.
I'm looking forward to it because it is what is being popped out of my in my tent this weekend, or not this week, this
Nice.
weekend coming.
Gracie is a Skittles.
Gracie's not no. Gracie is Snowbud. She is
Ah.
she is the last of her genetics because they don't sell at the seed banks. It was their own version. It was a small little seed bank over here in Ireland called the Right Seed Bank.
But you've got a Skittles somewhere?
I have some Seedman's Skittles, and
oh.
they are in my vault outside, and
Yeah,
they're being popped the weekend coming.
I just finished some Seedsman's Auto Skittles.
That's what I
have to say, I hate this name, Skittles with the Z. It pisses me off.
Yeah, I get in some of those copyright things, isn't it?
I realize this, but I don't know.
Just say Skittles and be done with it.
Yeah,
I just
grew
call it
it.
Skittles.
I'll go to
It was
Skittles,
a-
man. Yeah.
It was a nice thing to grow, or a nice strain. Mine, yeah, it was from Seedsman. I wasn't too impressed with, but then the taste wasn't super sweet. I will admit, I had heat issues, so that could have evaporated a lot of the useful terpenes that we were looking for. But I just smoked actually my last nug of it last night, and finally I was like, this is really good shit. And of course, it's all gone now. So
It's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss
About
this
how long
week.
was it? Yeah, about how long was that cure on it then at that point?
That would be 6-7 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, that's
So-
about right. That's about when it, to me at least, that's when the weed really starts getting really nice. About 6 weeks in. That's
Yeah.
when I like to get it at least.
I usually just pick away at it as it curing as I smoke. I guess.
That's
the
way I do
it.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be left by 6 weeks. There'll be something there, you know.
Yeah, there's a gram.
Yeah, really.
Nice to
But,
grow though. Easy to grow, I will say.
Yeah, but Skittles is said to have the aroma of like of all the different flavors that you're probably going to find in a bag of Skittles: strawberry, grape, berry, those kind of things like that. And they say when you grind Skittles, which I'll fess up, I was buying pre-rolls. I was out of pocket and I didn't have any place to process anything. And you all know pre-rolls, you can't get that sensory experience when you crush that bud. But they say it kind of has a little bit of a sourness that comes out when you crush it.
I would say, yeah. Mine was more soury metallic, I would say. Not too much sweet, but definitely that part of it for sure.
So that was the sour part of the Skittles, but you didn't get the sugar, is what I'm hearing.
Not so much. Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the reviews on Skittles, this was kind of fun to me, because it's been a long time since this is going to maybe show a little bit of my age here, but it's been a long time since I've had a really, really trippy high going. But somebody had written a review on it. It says, when taken in large doses, Skittles can cause distorted sight and a new way of seeing things around you. This is something that you might want to try at home or somewhere where you feel safe. Thinking like, wow, this person must have really OD'd on this stuff.
Yeah, a lightweight. Don't be a pussy.
Exactly.
I was going to
Pass me
say,
that
lads, it doesn't, lads, so any use, I don't really get
No.
when they're talking about all these effects, and I'm kind of, I'm just chill. It's not. I don't get a head buzz. I don't get the couch lock. A couch lock is what I am chasing. I have not had it for fucking ever.
Amen,
It's
man.
like
Let
20
stocks go
years.
amber. Let them go lots amber, like 30-40% amber, and that will kill you, mate. Don't worry about that.
I have at least another. I just went through my choice tonight on Grace. They're about 10%. I went, oh no, you're not even ready yet. You need longer.
Let it go.
Yeah, no.
I did. It's quite funny as it goes because the Skittles I've got going now is a grower's choice.
Okay.
My second best strain that I've grown so far was also grower's choice, brain damage. and that was mental. And I let that go to about 25%, I think. And I had to take a week off work. I just couldn't cope with it. I was sat on my settee just watching YouTube.
Damn.
Yeah.
Most impressed. So that's another
what I
one that's
must
coming up.
do.
Well, I'm
Brain
looking
damage,
forward to the
grower's
smoke report
choice.
on that run, Zian. I mean, after you let it go that far, I'd like to find out exactly what it's like.
Oh, I did this one, 6 months ago, the brain damage, but I was
No,
still
I'm talking about the
smoking.
Skittles.
Oh,
the
yeah, well,
Skittles.
I'm going to let the Skittles do the same thing, I think.
Yeah. Be nice to find out how
yeah.
it comes out when you're done with it, though.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated, don't worry.
Right,
Be
so
nice to know,
there
man.
we go. Strain of the week. Check it out if you haven't already. But now we're going to move on to the interview section. Yeah, so this week we had the privilege of interviewing Tad Hussey from KIS Organics. So I'm just a little stoned right here. Let me sit up. Yeah, man.
Are you high on homegrown?
No, I do not. Cannabis. Why is cannabis? You know, I am a professional. I am not
Turn
stoned.
around, look behind you.
Right, yeah. So this was all about organics, you know. Yeah, this was all about organics. This interview here, and I know fuck all about organics. Really, it's like way out my depth. So I just let TG and Tad talk their shit, man. Listened. Tried to be involved.
I'm a noob.
Know?
Tad knows his stuff far more than I'm like, most of mine, or not most, but a lot of my information comes from Tad's website. Like I just repeat what he says. So
and his podcast as well. He's got an awesome podcast.
Yeah.
So much knowledge.
Cannabis
cultivation and science. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're into the science and cultivation, which we all are, definitely give it a listen.
Yeah.
See, I've never really been too into the science of it because she's going to grow. That's why I grow in cocoa with salts. I grow it nice, and I pulled it all the way back on me nutrients. I only grow with AB and a bit of PK. It's just so easy. You go and write that fucking 5 mil in leave it be for about an hour or so, and in she goes.
The soil it's easier than that.
It's much easier.
Yeah, when you've got it
because
down.
you have to think of and then you have to let it cook for weeks and weeks and weeks on end.
Oh, all that. That's just waiting. Yeah. Well, soil. I mean, we should distinguish what soil is. When I say soil, I mean super soil, where the stuff is in there. Soil as a potting soil medium is no different than cocoa. It's inert, right? It's usually just made up of peat and some other stuff, but you have to add the nutrients to that, just like you do in cocoa, just like you do in hydro.
So. Some soils, yeah. I mean, no.
Well, if they're fortified, yeah. I mean, there's the water only kind of thing. However, I mean, I speak specifically when I talk about soil as the organic, like just water only kind of thing. So
okay. So we'll get this interview up and running. Very interesting shit, man. Organics baffles me sometimes. It's a step I'm going to take soon. But here we go. Here is Tad Hussey. So let's get started from the beginning then. Okay. What made you build KIS Organics?
It started with just a passion for organic gardening, really. When I first started, I never had any intention of getting involved in the cannabis industry or anything like that. We were opening KIS Farm, Keep It Simple Farm, with the idea of focusing on being an edible nursery, teaching people to grow their own food using organic methods, raising chickens, things like that. And we just kept getting more and more interest in high quality soils. And I had been to a fair number of hydro shops and seen the offerings on the shelves. And I'd never seen products offered like that, because I grew up with my parents owning a nursery. Right. And I had a lot of familiarity around, traditional fertilizers. And so seeing these bottles with girls in bikinis and these, giant fake beanstalk looking plants, and and all that was, it was just a whole new world. And I started growing a little bit myself, and I realized like you don't necessarily need all those things to grow a healthy cannabis plant.
Mhm.
And that really took me down a rabbit hole of looking into the science and ways to build container media, or what we now people call living soils. And that's really what sparked everything off. So
I find it really interesting that, yeah, like you say cannabis, when you go into the hydro shops, they're about the only like specialized grow shop, I guess, that do have all those other nutrients. Any other, horticultural type industry, you have your basic stuff, but the cannabis industry has all those fancy labels with all the pictures and stuff. So I always found that interesting as well.
yeah, and they're like 10 times the price of any other, traditional fertilizer. And you start looking at the ingredient list, you start looking at the NPK values, and you realize that you're, in a lot of ways, you're overpaying. They do simplify the process for you, but if you're willing to do a little bit of homework and educate yourself, which I think is important just as a grower to be a better grower, then there's no reason you can't learn a lot of that yourself. Because you meet these guys that are master growers, and then you talk to them, and they're like, they only know how to run general hydro parts A and B. If you want to get them to grow anything else, it's just they don't know how to do it. And so my idea originally, when we first started all of this in the cannabis side, was like, I wanted to be able to go to someone who was a cancer patient or a medical patient, be able to walk into a hydro shop, and rather than having to deal with all those bottles, just get a bag of soil and be like, plant your plant, keep it watered, and get a good, healthy, organic yield. That was where this all started. And then it kind of evolved from there when we started realizing that there were commercial applications, and we could do a lot of the same things we're doing outdoors on an agricultural scale, but sort of miniaturized in controlled environment agriculture on the commercial side.
No, I'd like to I have a question. I've been reading Dr. Elaine Ingham. I remember a quote from her saying that if your living soil has the proper proportion of microbes and stuff, you can actually get away without having to re-amend and stuff, just by having the microbes eat each other and produce the wastes, I guess, is what the plants would feed on exclusively. What do you think about that? Or do you need to have some sort of, I guess, other microbe food besides the microbes?
I appreciate Dr. Ingham for really bringing the soil food web to people's attention. Her and Jeff really did a lot to make people, more aware of how important a role microbes play in the soil. So what I would say to that, because I've heard a few claims come out of her camp around this idea that we don't need to worry about minerals and nutrients in soils. The microbes, if balanced correctly, will take care of it.
That's what I was referring to.
I've also heard that you don't need to worry about pests and disease if you get the right fungal to bacteria ratio or the right microbes in the soil. What I would say to that is, when you go to harvest the plants, assuming we have a closed system here, well, we don't have a closed system. You have, let's say, a plant in a pot, and you go to harvest that plant. What are you taking out of that soil? Well, you're removing organic matter from what was in that soil, and you're removing nutrients. So over time, those need to be replaced. Now, I would agree that microbes can help buffer that, but at the end of the day, if there's no nitrogen in your soil and you don't have any, nitrogen fixing bacteria, they're not going to be able to make nitrogen out of the air. The plant's going to suffer and die. If there's no calcium in the soil, well, they can't make calcium out of nothing. So at some point in time, you need that calcium, or that will be the limiting factor of growth. Many soils have more nutrients than the plant can access or needs, and that's where that microbial component or switch, I think, is really important. But I would say that's an oversimplification of the process in the sense that I think by managing the soils properly, both from a chemical or mineral perspective and from a biological perspective, really sets you up to be as most successful as possible. Because there's really these two camps that have kind of been fighting, and I think they're both a little right and they're both a little wrong when we talk about like people on the fringe of organic growing. And that's sort of this soil food web camp that just focuses, on microbes and microbial activity in the soil. And then you also have people like William Albrecht and Steve Solomon, Kerry Reams, Michael Estera, and they're on the side of mineral balancing. And they say, if you look at a soil test and get all the minerals in the soil where they need to be, the microbes are going to show up and they're going to cycle those nutrients and make them available. Long story short, they're both a little right, and I think both a little wrong. And so if you can do both, take care of the microbes in the soil through, proper soil management, and then also take care of the fertility in the soil through proper nutrient management, you're going to have the best of both worlds.
I think I agree. Yeah, it's not red versus blue. It's more of, I think you need purple, a little bit of both.
Do you have any problems with bugs though, Tad?
Absolutely. Any grower that tells you he doesn't ever have any problems with bugs is either I haven't met them or they're a liar, because I feel like every grow at some point in time is going to have to deal with bugs.
Yeah.
Now, as a grow that is leaving the soil in the room or keeping it in the grow facility, you're going to have more problems with bugs potentially. So if you want to grow like this, you need your IPM game to be on point. And
absolutely.
So essentially the key there is keeping the bugs under an economic threshold. So that's saying, okay, I'm going to have fungus gnats. When you're growing in soil, you always do. It's one of those things that they're impossible to keep out, but you can manage them through, the BTI, Bacillus thuringiensis. You can manage them through, proper application of SF nematodes. If we want to talk about,
what I run.
if we want to talk about other things like thrips or spider mites or broad mites, all of these things, once you get them in your grow, you're not going to necessarily be bringing it in with the soil. The fungus gnats, absolutely, that's probably coming in potentially with your soil, but those other things should not come in with your soil. However, at some point in time, if they come in contact with your grow, you do need to have a strategy for managing them. And a lot of that is the beneficial insect releases, having proper, sprays. That's where things like Suff Oil X is something that Suzanne Wainwright Evans talks about. That's a really, really great oil-based product. Yeah, you have to be on top of your game.
Prevention is the best medicine. And like you say, with growing in soil, you're always going to have bugs. I've literally never not had fungus gnats. I usually get the occasional thrip, but deploy some predatory mites, get your nematodes going, and brush off your shirt before you go down into your tent, and you should be okay.
No, I don't get bugs, man. I grow in cocoa, and I rarely see any bugs in the grow room. The only time I have seen them is when I moved to soil for a while, and that brought. I did have thrips in cocoa once, but I moved to a different kind of cocoa, and I think it came in with the bag. But other than that time, I moved to soil because I keep a clean grow room. But when I went in soil, I had loads of problems, man. And that's what puts me off going back to organics a little bit. There, I don't want bugs running around the place, man.
Well, when you talk about organics, you're gonna have bugs.
Yeah, that's it's part of the job, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing the work for you. I mean, the larger microarthropods or predatory mites are managing and keeping those bugs. It's kind of like an extra layer of protection in a lot of ways. So you have to get used to seeing bugs. Don't picture like you just have all these things flying around the room and you're like constantly swatting out of your face. Yeah. But if you were to scratch into your soil, you're going to see worms. You're going to see, road beetles and hypoaspis mites. And
the thing with soil though is you do the work initially when you're building your soil, you're reading, you're trying to get the right ratios or going out into the store and spending that money. But then throughout the rest of the grow, it's pretty simple versus cocoa where it's pretty relatively easy to set up, I guess, and measure your stuff, but you're doing that every single time
every day, pretty much for me.
Yeah.
And that because so when you say you put the soil in, you get an automated watering system. You don't have to do anything for the rest of the grow other than a little bit of trimming and searching for bugs. I'm like, my God, how do I set it up? Please, because I'm sick of fucking watering plants, man.
One thing I will give you guys, you hydro guys credit for is you're a lot better at identifying deficiencies.
But they're a lot easier to fix. That's
true.
the big difference as well. If you have a problem in the living soil, you have to identify it, figure out what it is, find the appropriate foods for it, and then feed it. And then it needs time to settle into the medium, be broken down, and be plant available. With salt-based nutrients straight in, 24 hours, it's fixed.
Exactly.
Yeah, less variability too. Like in the super soil, living soil, you have different interactions that you might not be totally aware of that are happening, and
Well, that's it. It's the more natural way, man. Organics. It's just, I think salt-based nutrients is the lazy way to some extent because it is simple, just growing by numbers. You know, here's your numbers. Add this much and this much and this much. Watch for reactions.
Yeah, I will find though, usually when I see people that are having like what they call deficiencies or toxicities, a lot of it relates to their watering. They're either over or under watering their
Yeah,
plant.
for sure. Yeah.
pH too, like you mentioned earlier, is a huge thing.
You don't need to check pH in soil.
Oh,
It's strange how that's out
no.
there because I've heard it in so many places. Like, oh, you're growing in soil, you don't need to check pH, and it's like, why do people think that when? You know, remember when acid rain was such a big problem back in like the early 90s? It's like we've got to be careful with the ozone, man, and we're getting acid rain. It's like obviously acidic water fed to plants is gonna start causing problems.
And all water's different too, so you really need to be on top of that.
Yeah, that's another point. I heard of somebody with pH water of on like 9.0 or something.
The soil does have better buffering capacity, so you can get away with a lot more than you would in other growing media or other methods. I will throw out a good resource for people when we do talk about deficiencies, though, is there's a paper out by Paul Coxon, Cockson, and it's if you type in like cannabis deficiency in his name, it'll pop up, and it's a free download. And what he did, he's the only one to do any university research on this, is he literally removed one element at a time from a plant. So he gave a plant essentially no nitrogen, but every other element. And this is all with chemicals. And then he photographed the results. And so you see a lot of things out there. You know, another fun one like that whole CalMag thing. Well, CalMag is not a nutrient. There's calcium and there's magnesium. So it's either one or the other.
Yeah.
And he kind of shows
it's always the solution.
Yeah. So
don't underestimate the importance of calcium, man. It's an important nutrient. And without magnesium, calcium can't work properly. So they sort of work together. But there's always, well, most of the time, there's a lot of calcium in the background water, you know, before you've even added anything to it.
Our water is fairly alkaline. We have a lot of calcium carbonate up here. The pH of our water right out of the tap's actually 8.2.
Whoa.
So
yeah, you do have to watch for bicarbonate buildup when you are watering with water that's really high in calcium carbonate. And we've seen on the commercial scale, I got a buddy in Maine now who, by dropping the pH in his water from even like 7.2 down to 6.5 using phosphoric acid, he's getting much better yields in his living soil than he was before. So
I do that all the time.
6.5 is apparently the best place, right?
I guess it depends, but that's what I always try to shoot for. But yeah, you got to pH your water. Like, I don't know why that's such a prevalent thing with the soil.
Tad, with your water, do you collect rainwater? Do you use the spring water? What do you use for your plants?
You know, we have pretty good water here in the Pacific Northwest Seattle area. It's fairly neutral. It doesn't have a lot in it. I'm on city water, so I have chlorine in my water. You know, a lot of organic growers will treat and remove that chlorine. I don't even really necessarily worry about that. You know, it will kill some of your microbial activity, but you have so much organic matter in that soil to where I think it's a pretty low concern.
I remember a quote from your Jeff Lowenfels episode of your podcast where you say you're talking about mycorrhizal fungi and you use it more of to allow the plant to use it when it needs to, if it needs to, kind of thing, versus having that as the thing that it has to use all the time. Because I totally agree. Like you say, the plant is much more in tune with what it needs than we are. So if you provide it with a full suite of all the minerals, not just your NPK, but you throw some kelp in there, which has the 88 micronutrients and all that, and just allow it to take what it wants from an all-you-can-eat buffet. I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah, I think the closest human analogy I've heard is sort of this idea of looking at chemical nutrients like growing with steroids and
performance enhancing drugs.
And you may have, the plant may look good on the outside, but it's probably going to be more susceptible to disease. It's not going to have the same level of terpene expression potentially. We see really, really high and consistent cannabinoid profiles, THC typically over 26%, 28% across a wide variety of genetics. It's I think it's a way to go. If people are willing to give it a shot, it's a great way to grow.
I'm gonna do it. It's my next grow. I'm gonna do it when my cheese comes down.
Good recipe on the website.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it, man. I have to. It's been too long, man. That's how I want to grow. I just know that initial step is going to be a pain in the ass, man, building that soil. But once it's done, and I can just plant that shit.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. Because I know the end product's going to be so beautiful as well. And that's what matters, the terpene profile, to get that tasty, stinky weed.
Is your soil kind of a derivative of the Subcool and Vic High and all those kind of guys with, the 3-part castings and compost and perlite or whatever the mix is? Or do you have I imagine, I guess you have a little bit more complex mix based on all your research that you've been doing, but
yeah,
it seems to be the base mix that lots of people like to use, myself included.
Ours is just a little bit different. I did do quite a bit of research when establishing it. I also got pretty lucky, I would say, as well. And so I kind of started off on the right foot just by happen chance. But our mix is it's 50% sphagnum peat moss, and then it has 33 to 34% pumice, which is 1/3 large, 2/3 medium. And then that other 17% is earthworm castings and a 2-year aged fish compost. And that's sort of our basis for our soils. And then onto that, we're adding about 15, I think off the top of my head, other organic amendments that equal about 100 pounds per yard of nutrients, which is more than any other commercial company I'm aware of is putting into their soils. And the key there is really just that it's balanced.
So how much soil would you use? Say, for example, I grow in a 4 foot by 4 foot 10, 1.2 meter by 1.2 meter for 4 plants in a raised bed. How much soil would you say I should use?
So for a 4x4 raised bed, let's say a 4x4 by 12 inch, so 4x4 by 1 foot. Okay. You're looking at a half a yard or 100 gallons of soil. And I apologize that I don't know metrics because
I'll figure all that out. Don't worry, I'm going to do the Google Maps on that.
It's a far superior system. I totally agree. I just don't know how to do it.
So it's about 25 gallons per plant, that is, isn't it? Whoa.
Yeah. 4 liters is 1 gallon.
Yeah, it's about fucking 100 liters per. But that's cool. I'll roll with that. Let's do it.
But then that 100 gallons of soil isn't going anywhere for 5 years potentially. And your cost to re-amend that, would be $25 to $30 a cycle. Significantly less than what you would spend on bottled nutrients.
Yeah. Absolutely. Spend more than that on silicon.
And you're getting more than just water, which is good.
Man. No. Look what you've done to me.
I like to think my system's cheap. I can get about a 3-gallon pot for about $2.50 with my recipe, but I'm not quite on the full re-amending the soil for 5 years shtick yet, but it's super impressive.
Here's the other thing that you need to consider too, and all of that is, let's say same soil, same setup, but 7-gallon pot. In a 7-gallon pot, your plant may or may not finish just on water only, depending on how long you veg. But let's assume 2 to 3 week veg, 55 to 60 day flowering cycle, fairly standard. By the time you're done with that, there's not going to be a lot of soil left in that 7-gallon pot. And what soil is left is going to be pretty well depleted. So when you go to re-amend that soil, you'd have to re-amend it at a much higher rate than you would that same plant that had been in a bed. So by having that buffering of the bed, and the other thing we see too is I get growers all the time, they're trying it in a 5-gallon pot or a 7-gallon pot. And I'm like, just throw it in a larger container or try running a bed. And this is usually a commercial facility, and they'll do 1 bed. And all of those, so quote unquote deficiencies that they were dealing with just go away. All of those problems with the watering that they were having, because that soil is going to dry out a lot faster in a 7-gallon or 5-gallon than it would in a bed. All the issues with, nutrient availability and nutrient cycling. There's just so many advantages to giving a plant more soil. And as someone who has a background in running a nursery, I had a great example of when I used to have the farm. I had these plants. They were mulberry trees, and I have one mulberry tree in a 3-gallon pot that I'd had for a couple years, and I had that same mulberry tree in the ground, and the one that was in the pot would be like 3 feet tall, you know, and I needed to transplant into a 5-gallon. That same mulberry tree in the ground was like 7 or 8 feet tall, and they were the same age when I got them. Putting plants in the ground, you know, making root space not a limiting factor of growth is huge.
Absolutely.
Now you're making me think I should just like get one plant in this massive 100-gallon shit. I mean, imagine that, because I've got a purple punch mom, and just plant that in the middle of a big fucking, and get a screen over it.
Just
wow.
So
imagine that grow. It took about 6 months, man.
So people go that route too when they have plant count issues on the medical side. But the challenge there is, you know, like you said, 6 months. Well, that's not practical. You don't want to light and heat a room for 6 months while waiting for this plant to grow. So instead of growing one giant plant, which you could do, you know, it's a little bit excessive in terms of, you know, having to have that giant 100-gallon pot. You could have, you know, 8 plants in that 100-gallon pot and create that canopy, because your canopy is really your yield, is what we find. Is the fact. It doesn't matter if you create it with 1 plant or you create it with 10 plants. Whatever it takes to create that, you know, thick, even canopy is the difference. So we usually recommend,
space is the important factor, isn't it?
Yeah, put a few more plants in there, create that canopy faster, trellis it, you know, maintain it correctly, and you'll get that same yield that you would have from one giant plant a lot quicker.
So would you prefer to go from seed or from a cutting?
Oh boy, it depends.
Right. So there's no set way you do it?
No, I mean, we're the ones spreading cannabis aphid, hemp russet around. Those are not coming in from outside. Those are coming from direct transmission from plants, and that's you know, cannabis plants specifically. So we need to stop vectoring them, and now a lot of that is cuttings. And certain things like thrips, I learned this recently from my entomologist friend, is they actually lay their eggs inside the leaf. You can't even see them; they'll emerge, you know, later. And so you can treat the plant, but at the end of the day, you still need to quarantine things before you bring them in. So I love cuttings; they're very convenient, they're easy. They don't necessarily scale well commercially. But then seeds, you have so much variability. You're pheno hunting. It makes it hard to have an even canopy.
There's always pros and cons to all of this, and
totally
hard to choose which way to go. But you know, a raised bed with all the living soil in it, it's been an aim of mine for a long time. It's just making my ass do all that work initially.
That's my plan. Once we get a house, build a nice big greenhouse with a bunch of raised beds in there. Looking forward to it.
So you grow in any of your own personal grow right now, Tad?
I am not. In the state I'm in, it makes having a personal grow really challenging. And my life's just in a lot of transition right now. With
I suppose,
child, moving the farm location, all of these things with KIS. My hope is after we get established, I can apply for a personal grow license again and set up maybe a small tent grow to kind of demonstrate some of these principles, and also do some research on some things too. But yeah, unfortunately right now I can't. I have grown.
Do you miss it?
You know, I do and I don't. Like I don't miss it in that it's like one more thing that you have to do, like on your checklist. And I work with so many growers. I'm around around cannabis so much. I'm talking to, you know, 10 to 15 growers a day probably about various things. So I'm still really around it. So I don't miss it that much, but I do love watching a plant grow, and I get that from a lot of the vegetables that we're growing right now on the farm.
See, I love it. I do. It's good for the mental health. It's good for the mental health when things are going well.
It's nice to finish one to completion too. It kind of, I don't know, makes you feel proud or something that you don't have to rely on others.
Accomplished.
Totally, except you have to trim it, which I'm terrible at. I'm the world's worst trimmer.
No, I definitely hold that title. I don't even bother, man. I let the wife do it. Once the plant gets chopped, my job is over. It's like, there you go, sweetheart. You want to trim that up for me? And that's like her part of the deal.
That's great. You know, you mentioned how the soil helps your mental health. Well, there's the cocoa. There's actually research that shows that the microbes in real soil help battle depression.
Yeah, I've
and things
read
like
that as well. Something from the smell.
Yeah, the smell that's created from the that earthy smell is created by aerobic bacteria. And so
Actinomycetes is the name of the bacteria, right? Or one species of that, I think.
that's a classification of bacteria. They're actually, I think they've been renamed actinobacteria now, because they were actinomycetes, which is sort of their fungus-like. They're very thin, filamentous hyphae, but they're really a bacteria, not a fungus. So yeah.
So with the podcast, Tad, how many episodes have you got now?
Oh, good question. I think we're at like 63, 64
Whoa.
episodes. And I think this year we should hit 1 million downloads now.
Wow.
Coming up on it. I'm just blown away by the
that's impressive, mate.
feedback. Yeah, I feel very honored to just be a part of all of that.
Yeah, I feel the same with Percy's as well. We've hit ridiculous statistics, views which I thought the site would never see. And it's just the cannabis community is just giving, everybody just wants to help each other out all the time.
You guys' podcast, for anybody that isn't interested in organic growing and stuff, you definitely have to listen to Cannabis, Cultivation, and Science, because everything we touched on is gone much more into depth, and you guys always have the best experts and such interesting conversation, and it's all good. I'm so far behind, but
So who's your favorite guest, Tad? Are you allowed to say? Do you want to tell us?
I don't know. Usually it's like my next guest the podcast that hasn't quite been released yet, kind of a thing. But I really enjoyed my latest conversation with pathologist Chris Haze, talking about powdery mildew and botrytis and how that works in a cannabis plant.
Interesting. Nice.
And
everybody gets bud rot.
I'm gonna get some really good, chemical growers in talking about leaf tissue and nutrient analysis too. So it's not going to be, we had started this, focused on organics because that was my background, but there's a lot of research, and I've had a lot of university research professors and students come on to share their research, and none of that is organic usually, because it's not as controllable. So we do lean towards organics. There is that slant on the podcast, but I am trying to get pertinent information out there on the more conventional nutrient side as well. Yeah,
it's really important too to disseminate some of this well, I don't know, for lack of a better term, I guess, bro science out there. And like you say, you get lots of these actual university peer-reviewed kind of studies that are coming out now. So that's super awesome.
That's it. That's something we don't see much of. Sorry, Tad.
Oh no, I was just saying I'm very grateful to be a platform that people will come on and share that information. Really, more than anything, it's not about me or the podcast. It's just getting these guests on that are much smarter than I am to share, what they know. And
that's what I do. I get people like Tad Hussey on, and then I'm like, he knows what he's talking about. Don't ask me. This guy knows,
Always learning, man. I'm always learning.
That's same. Everybody's always learning. It's the good way to be. Just keep learning.
It's the key. If you're not, then I don't know why are you doing it anymore.
It's always fun. That's what I'm saying. Moving to organics will be fun because it's fresh. It's new for me. It'll be like learning to grow again to some degree.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. When I'm there with a flamethrower killing off the spider mites, like I'll do it.
Yeah, that proper IPM. You don't need the napalm.
Yeah, IPM. That's a subject on its own altogether, isn't it? We really appreciate your time, Tad, man. I know that you're very busy.
I'm not a big deal, guys. I'm not. Don't get the wrong idea. We're a company of like 6 people now. We've shrunk it down. We're not.
Well, you're one of the good guys, man. There's too many snake oil salesmen out there that are just trying to, sell big boobed women on balls.
I appreciate that. We're trying our best, just trying to stay relevant with all these bigger companies coming in, and with more money and more everything. So,
but you got the grassroots movement, man. That's you can't buy that kind of thing. That organic grassroots movement. For sure.
Yeah, the cannabis communities, they're great people. There's some bad eggs, just like anything else. But overall, a lot of the people I meet are just really awesome, human beings.
I say, I think the bad eggs are just going through a phase because they had a bad grow. You know, everybody
possible,
seems pretty
yeah.
cool most of the time. It's a great community, man. I do love the cannabis community. Right, nice one then, Tad. We'll let you go.
Sweet.
All right, have a
We
wonderful
appreciate
day,
you
guys.
taking the time, mate. I appreciate you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All
Yeah,
right,
you
take
too.
care.
We'll do it again.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
See you.
Cool, TG. Nice one.
Nice. I didn't know that he was involved with
No, I
Black
didn't
Soil
know.
or Black
No.
Swallow. I have their.
And there we go. I have unmuted myself. I have now unmuted the panel. And yet again, I cut that tune short. I always do that. I need to let that run. I hope you enjoyed the interview, everybody. Welcome to High on Homegrown. We are always extremely high. Don't forget to please like and subscribe to this video. And
I forgot
go
to
and
like.
check out Tad's podcast as well, Cannabis, Cultivation and Science. If you listen to podcasts like you listen to this one, you'll really enjoy that. A lot of good knowledge. Great podcast. So, TJ, you want to say something about the interview, man?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it was a great interview. I was always looking forward to talking with Tad, and I mean, we could go on for hours and hours and hours about all of that kind of stuff. So,
And he has
But,
up on his podcast, man.
exactly, man. Like all the people we mentioned, Jeff Lowenfels and the people that get really in depth into the science and the nitty gritty of this stuff. Yeah, he does like hour and a half long interviews with them and goes into everything. So if you're into the details, definitely check it out. It's great.
Nice. I hope you enjoyed it. But now we're going to move on to what the fuck was that? Get the size out, guys. Yeah. Right, so here we go. What the fuck was that? We play a 5-second soundbite, and you have to guess what it is. Now, last week, we did have an answer in the chat for what last week's episode was, but it wasn't put in the forum, so we only count guesses that are put in the thread in the forum. So unfortunately,
And
we don't have a winner.
It was really easy last week, I thought, and it
It
was
was really easy,
such a fucking epic prize for such an
Right, so let's play it so everybody can be reminded about what it was. Here we go. ZN, that was
That was a lift door closing.
Ah.
Or an elevator door closing for our over the
American
people.
Thank you for the translation there.
I thought it was a bowling alley. It sounded like a
yeah,
Hughes
yeah,
or
it did,
something.
yeah.
Almost train like
Somebody
in a way,
did get
too.
it. I think was it Richard that got it in.
I
the
think
chat?
it was
can't
Richard.
remember.
Yeah, I think it was too.
Yeah,
Bad luck,
somebody got
Richard.
it. Yeah, man. You have to. We only take guesses that are in the forum thread. Yeah, so get over there. If you're not a member already, sign up to Percy's, and you can take a
Doesn't
guess
cost anything.
at this one. It's a great prize as well with the Chongdolf pipe there and some super lemon haze. I think it is from the greenhouse. Some seeds.
We have other seeds. We've t-shirts. We've got stickers. There's there's loads of shit in it, man.
So go and have a look.
Yeah,
Sign
it's
up.
a really good prize.
Let's see if you can guess what the fuck this is. Yeah, what the fuck is that, man? See, I don't know where you find these. I don't know what you do.
I actually think that's a pretty easy one.
I think that's quite an easy one as well. I'm kind of thinking that's easier than last week's, but
So
Richard,
remember what we
get in
said.
that
You
chat,
have to be
in
over
that
in the forum and
Yeah.
posting of what the fuck was that.
See
thing.
answers in it. Yeah, those answers have to be in the thread, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they could be the answer right there. We don't know.
You may be correct. You may be not. Find out now
You
on
may be a
Percy's Grow
winner.
Room.
It could. I'm thinking of. It could be 6 things that I'm actually thinking of right now.
6 things.
Yeah, there's 6
Yeah.
things that could sound similar
How
to
can
that.
it? Okay.
I got
At
one
least.
idea, but yeah.
You got some kit at home, haven't you?
Right then.
Yeah.
So there we go. Go and tell us what the fuck that was over at Percy's Grow Room. And let's go on to questions and answers. So there we go. We did have some questions earlier on in the chat. I saw one pop up. I've got it written down. But if you do have any questions that you'd like one of the panel members to ask, then just drop a question in the chat and we'll go through it. We did have one. I can't remember who it was from because I didn't write the name down. But it was which US strains is most like amnesia / haze type. What would you know about that, Monkey?
New strains?
I don't know. Something amnesia and hazy.
Well, I mean, I just finished a grow with seeds in amnesia fast, and I really enjoy it. And it's almost a classic amnesia feeling. To me, it's a little bit more orange in the citrus notes, but my wife says she didn't get the orange out of it. So, but yeah, that's where I'd go if you were looking for something that was easy. Now the plants are small, and it was very easy to grow. It was a moderate yielder, and it's really inexpensive seed. So I mean, that's where I'd go first with it.
Would you say, TG? You got recommendation?
Well, I don't know. I'm not too up on my quote, I guess, American genetics, but I always thought a Haze was a Southern California creation in the beginning. I may be totally wrong on that, but if that's the case, then I would say Haze. But
straight up.
I mean, Amnesia Haze itself, whether it's American or not, I have some autos. I don't know exactly which breeder they're from because they were given to me by a friend, but they're phenomenal. Wherever they're from, just Amnesia Haze itself is a great strain if you want something like Amnesia Haze. Not very helpful, I mean, but yeah.
No, I agree, man. Just go with the old school Amnesia Haze, man.
Well, there
It's
is
solid.
a particular strain called American Haze as well.
Is there?
There's a ton of hazes out there, yeah.
I'm just on the vault right now checking out their American seed selection, the top Cali strains, and they don't have a lot of hazy stuff listed. It's all kind of the really dark, granddaddy purple type of stuff, and then on the other side is the fruity strawberry lemonades and blueberries and wedding cakes and things. Yeah. So
if you just want to lean a little bit more to the sativa side, I don't know if it would really go to the haze end. I mean, I enjoyed mimosa and clementine as well. Both of those were, for me at least, were kind of nice up, energetic highs, and they both had a nice citrus flavor to them, which we enjoyed.
Cinderella 99 as well, I think.
Cindy Jack.
That's a legend, man. We have to have a whole podcast about Cinderella 99. So I love that stuff so
Maybe
much.
we'll talk about that strain next week then a little bit.
Maybe.
Actually, I'm just checking here. It says meringue. Meringue is a wedding cake crossed with animal cookies, which isn't haze per se, but it's definitely an uppity kind of, I guess, quote, sativa, like, what people would refer to as sativa highs. So that might be something to look at too. I've never actually smoked meringue myself, but Dutch Passion, you can't go wrong with anything. So
yeah, Dutch Passion's always good. You got Black Ops Gardens there. Said Super Silver Haze from the Greenhouse Genetics. Man,
always.
If you've got the time, do it.
Very long.
I would love to. Do you know what I really want to grow out is 6-shooter. It is meant to be epic. Looking at it, it's just a big, giant, frosty fucking beast.
Whose gear is that?
I cannot remember. I have it actually. It's all saved on my fucking computer and work.
Yeah, I've got one of those being 6-shooter. I can't remember. It's there somewhere.
I'm on the vault. I can look it up.
But is that because it's like a 6 weeks flower or something? Is that what I call it, 6-shooter?
No, Jesus, this joke takes fucking. It's like Acapella Gold.
It's a Fast Buds apparently.
Fast Buds? No, well, it wasn't Fast Buds one.
Oh.
Maybe different strains.
This was it could have been a Barney's, I think. It may have been a Barney's, or it was one of the well-known seed banks. I can't. That's how stoned I am, lads. I can't even remember. I have all this stuff because you see, I have a shiny new laptop that I haven't put anything on yet. It literally just has Percy's grow room.
Sweet. So anyone grown Jack Flash just popped a pack from Richard D.
Not me.
No.
Jack Herod and Jack's Cleaner and Jack the Ripper, I will say, are all amazing. So I'm sure anything with Jack.
Anything with Jack is good, man.
Yeah, really.
You do fine. Are they autos or photos? What's going on? Tell us some more.
Start a thread.
Yeah, there's some great Jack strains out there, man. You know, like Cinderella Jack, isn't that crossed with Jack Herer as well?
Yeah.
And just the
That's
straight
good
up Jack
strain.
Herer.
Yeah. It's called the classic, or what, the perfect hybrid, right? So,
Yeah, I think so.
That was one quote. Yeah.
So good. And Seedsman's version specifically is phenomenal stuff. Love it.
So easy to grow that one. The Seedsman.
Do you know what, TG? I'm actually looking at it. I think you're right. I think it is that 421.
Fastbox 420.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The picture looks, amazing, but they usually do.
Yeah, they always look so much better than what they come out. And do you know what?
Burgers and pizzas always look better as well.
Yeah, but that's because they bring them out, they're already cooked and cold, and then they put on glazes and spray them with varnishes and stuff.
Sure.
I'm sure they're same with this.
All the pictures of these birds, they take them, they crop them, they make the right perfect size, they add loads of filters, they stick.
No, you know what? It's probably like them fucking McDonald's pictures. You know, they're made out of plastic and shit.
Exactly.
Probably the same with the ganja plant, man. And even a real plant. You know, you beat somebody to death with it, it was carved out.
They're after spraying it. They're after spraying it with a lacquer and fucking dusting a sugary fucking thing over the top.
17 different colours, so it looks nice.
It's just the menu, guys. It's not the real product, you know.
Yeah. I always heard well, I don't know if it's actually true, but people they would spray things like 7-Up and spray it on the bud to make it smell lemony and real sticky.
Yeah, they done that. They used to do that in Ireland. They'd spray Coca-Cola onto it and it made them that little bit heavier. So when they were really screwing you already, they were screwing you already with like fucking 2.5 bags. It was really only 2.3.
And that wet sugar would help your mold situation real good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, wouldn't it just fucking.
Richard Diaz there as well. Are they greedy or like it drier? It's like we need so much more information to come up with a conclusion for that. It's like what medium and what food you're using. There's a lot that goes into it, man. So just sign up to the forum if you aren't a member already and start a thread, and we're happy to answer any questions you have over there. No problem.
That would be a good discussion because you're going to have a lot of different opinions and answers on that.
Exactly.
That's a Sensei Seeds cut, though, that Jack Flash. That's interesting.
Well, it's a cut.
Well, Sensei
it's their
offering.
line.
Yeah. It's a Jack Hare crossed with a Super Skunk, and then that was crossed with a Haze, apparently. Very nice.
Yeah, sounds nice, man. Jack Hare with a little bit of an extra hazy flavor.
Yeah, I can go.
Yeah, Sensei is awesome too. You can't go wrong with those guys. Anyway.
Yeah, man. So let's move on to, what's coming next, right?
You've been teasing about this one all day, haven't you?
Could it be truth or spoof?
It is truth or spoof. Right. So this week, I was finding it hard to find some cannabis news. So I thought, let's see how much these motherfuckers know about Percy's Grow Room.
So I have read a little bit, but I haven't been around that long, so this will be interesting.
Right. So
I'm lazy. I just kind of hang and chat and have a laugh.
Well, 2 of them are right, and 1 of them is incorrect.
Right.
You gotta choose which one.
Oh man!
I will read them out. Here's number 1. Percy's Grow Room was founded on the 19th of November 2018. But the forum did not officially go live until March 2019. Okay. Number 2. In the last 28 days, Percy's Grow Room's YouTube channel has had around 25,000 new views and 250 new subscribers. And number 3. Percy's Grow Room sees over 100k new visitors every month with over 6 million page views a year. Pow. What's it gonna be? Who's gonna go first? TG, take it away.
We've been drafted, brother.
They've all gone silent now.
No, this one might be good if you let the panel talk about this for a second first, because I think some of us might have more information than other ones. I'm
excited.
Yeah, I've only my 1-year anniversary is actually in 2 days from now, so I haven't been around since the beginning either. But
that pretty much is pretty sure. Man. Damn.
Yeah, well, I suppose it was. I'm pretty sure number 1 is true though, because I remember that. number 2 and number 3. I have no idea what our statistics are. I know that having this podcast with such a cool sounding international panel is really helping us on YouTube. And probably the forums too. I just don't know which one more so, or which, yeah. So I'm going to go with the YouTube one because, yeah, I don't know. Just
number 2
it's my
is
gut.
incorrect.
Number 2 is incorrect.
Okay.
That's what I think. Yep.
ZN, I've got you on the list next, man. You want to take it down? No?
He must have gone and make coffee.
ZN? Is he there? No? Okay, GB, you take it, man. I think ZN should be disqualified, I think, with you. We'll give him a minute. He might be making coffee. GB.
Okay. I think I know. We have to find which one is the false, is it?
Yeah, which one's false?
Right, I think I've been getting the premise of this game wrong for the last couple of weeks. But okay.
ZN, you back. Cool.
Yeah, okay. Right, I think it is number 1 because I think we've been doing. Yeah, I think it's number 1 because I think you opened before the date that was said. I can't remember the fucking date now. I know it was something like 2019.
I actually don't know the dates, so, but I'm sticking with my answer.
Yeah, I'm going to go with number 1, Mackie.
Number 1. Okay, ZN,
yeah.
you want to have a shot, man? You just missed your turn. He was away.
I was going to say, did you shout me? I sent you a message in chat saying I was going to make a cup of coffee. I'll be back in a sec. Leave me until last.
Oh shit! Yeah, I don't read the chat, man.
Shit,
I'll use all my bandwidth for the streaming to make sure there's no lag.
Obviously, yeah. So my message will get there in the morning sometime.
Yeah, you know.
Right. I'm going to go number 2 as being the false one because I'm pretty sure the 100,000 the YouTube the last one. I'm pretty sure you told me that the other day. And number 1, I'm pretty sure that was about the time we went live as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go with number 2 being the false.
Okay, and Monkey.
Okay, you waited on me because I've been doing some reading on that forum. Was that your strategy?
I thought you'd get the most information from the rest of the panel. You might be able to come up with the right answer. Let's see.
Yeah,
is
that
a clue?
So bad. I'm actually at the bottom of the stack. So yeah, I get you now. No, but the first one, that's absolutely true. I've actually read the first ever thread that was at Percy's. If you dig back far enough, it still exists back there. So, and that's no problem. The last one, I'm kind of confused a little bit. Did you say 100,000 views a day or 100,000 views a month? 100,000 views of what? On number 3.
100K new visitors every month with over 6 million page views. So this is 100K new visitors.
Yeah,
so new people visit the site.
Okay, I do know we get 100,000 views a month. I'm just going to assume that's going to fit into that. So I'm going to go with number 2 as being false.
Okay. So there we go. Motherfuckers, man.
Did we spread him again?
Yeah, you bastards. It's just GB got it wrong, man. But, you know, I've
been reading the
forum,
brother.
That'll tell you, I don't read. I go into the recent posts, I chat to
No, but this was YouTube stats, man. I thought nobody's going to have any idea. This is false, right? Because we actually see...
We actually discuss these things from time to time.
Yeah, exactly. And
do you know how high I am most of the fucking time, man? We call this high on homegrown for a reason, man. And I have to be professional.
I was kind of smiling, thinking like, yeah, I've talked to Mackie about all 3 of these things in the last week.
Yeah, but you didn't know the YouTube stats, man. Maybe on some videos, but not over the whole channel. Not the analytics over the whole channel.
You told me about the YouTube stats, I think it was a few days ago, because we were talking about splitting off the podcast.
Fucking stoner, man.
What's wrong with moment, man? You beat yourself.
I could have checked the YouTube stats, I guess, but I don't go into that.
Yeah, you got access. You could have seen it. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Mackie got hit hard this week.
He was bragging so much at the forum. I'm
gonna
kill
get
you
these
this week.
motherfuckers. I got you now. I got you now. But no. maybe next
Hey,
week.
mate, it's
I'll
our
get you
community
next
too.
time,
We know a
Gadget.
little bit more than you think.
So the
You
actual
think
stats.
we just ignore you?
No, the actual stats here, man, is in the last 28 days we've seen 34.9k new views on the YouTube channel with a total amount of 2.7k hours watch time. Fucking hell, man. That's a
Doing
lot
good.
of fucking hours. And we've picked
Doing
up
good.
489 subscribers in the last 28 days.
Good.
That's
Super
wicked.
fucking cool, man. We do really well on the YouTube. It's great.
We're
platform.
getting more videos up soon, I promise.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
They do very well as well. We appreciate all the
Mhm.
subscribers and all the likes and everybody who takes the time to watch the channel. It's all good shit. So there we go. I got swept again. Thank you very kindly, panel. Bastards. Bastards. I'm gonna next week. Yeah. I mean, like this week was so difficult. Bastard. But well done. Good. Well played, gentlemen. Well played.
Thank you very much.
And
That's twisting your head up to say it.
Yeah, maybe that proves to you that we do listen from time to time. We do hear when you say things or
yeah.
two, you know.
It's just
probably
that you
proves
don't
that
hear us when we say stuff like I'm going to make a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Man, I'm so ignorant.
I don't listen.
I thought
It
my
proves
memory
that
is
I
good, but
don't-
it's not, obviously. Yeah.
It just shows you, Becky, because I researched the wrong person this
GB, everybody knows, mate. I already told them before you turned up earlier.
Did you? Oh,
Well,
man.
you know, it's got to be done. We have to have a laugh about you.
But lads,
Oh, yeah, I know. Seriously, fuck.
we are a stoner
It
podcast.
was a stoner moment,
do
man.
like
It's
to
just
get
what
high.
we do.
I've had a really fucking tough week. It was so busy, and
Yeah.
the fucking slave driver upstairs, the dragon has been breeding, man. You know?
Hey, man, it's over now. We're on the radio. We're just hanging out.
All right. So with that, then let's move on to.
Man, like I had a thing to do, you know, where you talk, man. When the cat talks, I got a thing to say, man. I was gonna say it, but I forgot it, man.
God damn. Tommy Chong cracks me up, man.
I've
You know,
never
even the
told
sound
my
of his
girl that.
voice, he's just a funny guy. TG, what quote have we got this week, man?
Well, this it's not as, light as usual. It's kind of, it's by a guy called Dr. Gabor Mate. And this quote's from the excellent documentary called The Culture High, which everybody should watch. But he's talking more generally, it's not about cannabis per se, it's just about addiction. He's an addictions counselor out in the west coast of Canada. And he says that the addiction should be seen not as the problem, although it is a problem, but it's not the problem. It's the addict's attempt to solve a problem. So with that in mind, I mean, everybody, has issues and not everybody deals with them in the best ways. So just keep that in mind and be nice, basically. I know I'm probably preaching to the choir with everybody listening and stuff, but, but
Don't be a
it's
dick,
something to keep in mind that, so we'll leave on that kind of not as nice note as usual, but,
Keep
join
it
up to
real.
Percy's. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go to the outro there. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you haven't already, go over to percysgrowroom.com, sign up, become a member, and you can just join in with the community, chat weed, learn how to grow, or just show us your grow skills if you're already growing, man. It's a good community.
we love to meet new people.
Yeah, drop by. We're always around. If you can't find us, ask. They'll find us.
We're always super interested in everybody's growth because everybody does it a little bit different, and we're always learning from each other. So the more the merrier.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I love looking at everyone's grows.
Me too.
It's such, you see
Pictures are the
things.
best.
Well, that's it, and you see something, you go, oh, that's a fucking. I've been thinking about something like that's how I can ask somebody who's already done it, and it's not going to cost me a fortune and fuck it up.
No, I could do that. Yeah.
What we're here for.
Who was it? I can't remember who done it. Had this fucking epic water system made up out of fucking Coke bottles or fucking soda bottles cut up, and it was worked as a timer system to work in the way one filled up and went into another, and it was really cool. It was somebody on the site.
Well, it must have been me on my mug grows. Only thing I can think of.
Yeah, maybe. I can't remember. I thought it was. I was thinking Twisted, maybe.
No, he did the irrigation system, pumping from a reservoir into the pails, but mine was it pumped up into a cut off soda bottle, and that acted like an IV tubing to drip slowly down into the mug.
That is
But
it.
it was the MacGyver moment. Yeah, I had to figure something out. But I mean, I've got a mug going in the tent now. And I think it might reach that half ounce. It's getting close.
No way.
From a mug.
Go
You know
on.
what? I'm addicted.
Yeah.
I want to see how much I can get out of a mug.
This is not going to be fair when we have our mug off, Mackie.
No.
Brother,
because
you know how it is in
Monkey
posting.
Mate.
I will tell you anything I know.
You
Mama.
could have
Share
been
my
doing
information.
exactly the same as him. You
Including
could have.
how to win every
You just
single
chose not to,
competition
man.
that's ever
Yeah,
thrown.
well,
Yeah.
nah, it's all in good. But we are going to have that mug off grow soon, and it's all just in good fun.
Yeah,
Remember, I'm Madman. I can't win the prizes.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm only
can play,
mod,
but I
so
can't
I
win.
can.
Exactly, brother.
Ah.
See, with the promotion comes a demotion.
All right then. So thanks for listening, everybody, and don't forget this episode will be available for download on Tuesday on all the podcast networks and things like that. So if you want to listen to the whole show, maybe you've only caught a piece of it, then you'll be able to pick it up on Tuesday, or just listen to the live stream again on the YouTube channel. But yeah, we're everywhere. To just Google High on Homegrown, and you should be able to find us as well. So thanks everybody for joining us, panel. Thank you very much for everything you do every week to put all this shit together. You know,
Always fun.
yeah, it's a great laugh.
Always fun. We may not sound like we're having fun here because we're kind of halfway stoned, but we really do enjoy it.
Stone. So we're going to be considering as well next week, or maybe in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing an after party, because though the show ends here, we do usually chat for like an hour where we just chat random shit. It's not structured and things like that. Sometimes gross stuff, sometimes politics, whatever. So we might be doing an after party after the show soon, which will just be for Percy Grow Room members on an unlisted live
Private
stream.
stream.
Yeah, man. So you might be able to join us if you sign up and
Kinda-
get over to Percy's, man. So thanks again,
Stoner
everybody.
smoke sesh, yeah.
There you go. Percy'sGrowroom.com. High on Homegrown.
Bye,
Come see
everyone.
us.
Night, everybody.
Yeah, man. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Like and subscribe.
safe.
Ring that bell.
On everybody. Have a good night.